Hello there, Reject Nation. I'm Greg Alba.
And I'm Kat Alvarado.
When Kat's on the channel, we gotta watch something that is scary related in some way, because that's what Homegirl and I do.
Yes, it's my signature thing.
And we usually watch from our friends from Top 5 Unknowns, a fantastic channel. They're great people, and they have this video here that I think is perfectly suitable. 5 scariest Mexican urban legends with the curse of La Llorona coming out this month.
La Llorona.
And that's not how you say it, okay? And Kat is some kind of Spanish.
Yeah, I'm South Mexican.
There you go.
Nicaraguan. I'm Nicaraguan.
That's what it is. I figured this is perfectly suited for what we normally do. And hey, transition. Kat has a podcast called Villains of History. Tell them about it, Kat.
Villains of History is about the worst people in history. It's a podcast. Greg was on it. He was actually on the first episode. He popped my podcast cherry. Aww.
Well, now.
But we did an episode on John Wilkes Booth, but there are so many really funny and educational, informative episodes. So listen to them while you drive, do chores, whatever. They're great. And yeah.
Or while you're popping cherries. All right. Please no murdering of real children.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable to watch. That's the one thing I can't.
That's your limit. Got it.
Yeah, there's a creepiness level.
When you were younger, it is very likely that your parents told you stories about mythical creatures like the boogeyman preying on bad children in order to scare you straight. But do these stories compare to these Mexican urban legends? Welcome to 5 most terrifying Mexican urban legends. Number 5. Probably the most well-known Latin American mythical creature is a Chupacabra. The name literally translates to goat sucker, as it is known to go around farms and suck the blood out of livestock, most commonly goats. What? This creature was first reported to be seen in Puerto Rico in March of 1995. In this first reported site, 8 goats were discovered dead, completely blood-drained. The Chupacabra was also seen again that year, only a few months later, where around 150 animals were allegedly killed. After these bizarre attacks were published in Puerto Rico, more and more attacks were reported, but this time not just in Puerto Rico, but all over the South American continent. There are many different descriptions of what the Chupacabra really looks like, the most popular being a reptilian creature with green skin and red eyes. It is also said to have a giant spike going down its back.
It's a dinosaur.
Other descriptions say it is a hairless wolf-like creature. Number 4.
Okay.
Just like the westernized story of the boogeyman, El Coco is a legend used to scare kids into behaving themselves. Often compared to the devil, El Coco will look out after children that misbehaved and would go to their homes. Once El Coco got to the child, it is said that he would either eat them as a whole or bring the child to a very scary place far away from home. This legend originated in Portugal and took the form of a ghost with a pumpkin head. The story behind this legend is that a man who suffered from tuberculosis was extremely desperate in finding a cure. He was so desperate that he went to a native healer to get a cure. This healer told him that he must drink the blood of a child in order to be cured. So now he roams the street in search of misbehaving children. As this legend spread across the South American world, El Coco's appearance changed. He is now described to be a shape-shifting being that is very ugly and scary to look at. Some say that he even takes the shape of a shadow on the wall that shouldn't be there. He even hides anywhere in a child's room, from behind the curtains to under the bed. Other people say he is about the size of a fairy and has piercing red eyes. The story of El Coco are commonly told as a lullaby.
Variety there.
A lullaby.
Translates to, "Sleep, child, sleep now. Here comes the Coco, and he will eat you." Number 3. La Llorona.
Hey!
He didn't say it right.
La Llorona.
She is such a popular legend that there have been many movies and songs based on her.
One more coming out.
The legend goes like this. La Llorona was a beautiful woman.
Llorona.
She had children and a husband. Her husband left her for a much younger and beautiful woman.
An Asian
So
woman.
Lydia decided to get revenge on her husband, and she did so by drowning her children in the river.
Oh, no.
She soon realized after that the children were dead. She became very depressed about it that she drowned herself as well. She
That
gets to the
happens.
heaven's gates and learns that she is not allowed to enter until she finds her children.
Damn.
So now Maria's weeping ghost is forced to wander the rivers and canals at night in search for her children. It is said that La Llorona will kidnap children that resembles hers and beg them for forgiveness. She then drowns them again in order to go to heaven, but never makes it.
Well, that's
Also,
just
if you happen to
projecting
be
at that
walking the
point.
street at night and hear her weeping, you're marked for death, so don't even bother running. Number 2.
Don't even try.
Llorona, also known as the evildoer, is an evil demon that is known to be scarier than the devil himself. She will stay late at night at dark intersections on isolated roads and wait for a lonely traveler to cross paths with her. Llorona changes shapes and sizes constantly and rapidly. She starts off as a large black blob of mass. If you encounter La Llorona, she will do her best to literally drive you insane to death. When the time is right, she will rush up to her new target and strangle them. Most people will refuse to talk about this evil demon in fear, of course, that she will be finding them. Others say that she takes the shape of an evil old woman. This woman wears all black and floats along the side of the road. Also, it is important to know that this woman is a death omen. So if you spot her at any intersection, it is certain that either you or someone you know will die. Number 1.
Look out for old women. Got it.
El Silbon,
Check.
which translates to whistler in English, is a tall, thin ghost that is known as the Death Omen. His story starts off as him being a very spoiled child. One day this boy wanted to eat venison for dinner, so he sent his father to go hunt for some. His father was taking
Father,
him
go
out
hunt.
for his meat, so the boy went out to meet with his father, only to find him empty-handed. The boy was so furious at his father that he proceeded by killing him. The boy then cuts up his father to pieces and brings it home for dinner. His mother then noticed that the meat didn't resemble venison at all, and that in fact it was her husband's body. She cursed her son for eternity and got the boy's grandfather
That's
to
intense.
punish him and sent dogs out to hunt him. The boy now roams the countryside searching for his next victim. You will know if you're his next victim by his eminent whistle. If you hear his whistle from up close, you're safe. But if you hear it from far away, then you're next. Thanks again to everyone for watching this video.
Okay.
If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to us for more updates.
Wow, that last one had some serious control over his parents.
Yeah.
Man, if I had that level of control over my mom, oh boy. The amount of times I've asked her to pick up a very specific peanut butter for me at Trader Joe's, and I don't like the creamy. I want the crunchy. And the amount of times she's brought back creamy, she'd be hacked up, man.
That is ridiculous. So, okay, here's my take. I just want to say that Chupacabra haunted my childhood.
Really?
Yeah, I have totally heard of that one.
My mind will go like this. Who is that again? Because the name's all kind of blur for me.
Okay, the Chupacabra was the one at the beginning that was the creature that sounded like a dinosaur and he sucked all the blood out of the
Oh,
animals.
yeah. Yeah, the goats.
The goats.
The goat killer, yeah.
Goat killer. Yeah, that came out I remember it came out in the mid-90s and I was like little.
The legend? The
Yeah.
legend came out in the
The
mid-90s?
news about it came out in the mid-90s.
Oh.
Like, it was on the Spanish news channels. It's like, this is happening. And people were like, oh my God, it's real.
Oh, I thought this was like around for decades.
No, the Chupacabra is a new one. And that's why it's so weird and scary. And why every time I went outside when I was a kid, if it was dark, like going from the car to the house,
Yeah.
I'd always be like, is the Chupacabra going to get me? Is it going to get me? I think it's going to get me. Oh.
Oh, man. I feel that way about women in general. So, what do you think La Llorona is so popular? Like, there's a movie coming out about her now. When I would go to Halloween Horror Nights, sometimes they have a maze dedicated to her. Why do you think that specific urban legend has really struck a chord?
I think it struck a chord because it's just so freaking creepy, A, and B, I bet people have actually heard it.
Oh, so you think it's real?
Yeah. There's a reason why these stories go on. Okay, here's my theory about a lot of Latin American culture. If you follow literature, especially Spanish literature at all,
I do. Very religiously, I might add.
you might be aware of a genre called magical realism, which is
Magical?
magical realism.
Oh, magical. Okay.
Which is very popular in Latin American writing.
Okay.
And my personal belief, as someone who is Nicaraguan, has visited Nicaragua, has family there, I've talked to my family, I realize that everybody in Nicaragua, and maybe by extension Mexico and all Latin America, we've all got stories of the paranormal.
Okay.
And I wonder if that's what feeds into magical realism being such a popular way of seeing the world in a writing. Because we don't create entire different worlds like, Harry Potter or Star Wars. It'll be a very ordinary story, and then there'll be like a magical loaf of bread.
Canned bread!
Right. I get what you're saying.
Coming back to
reality, yeah.
Going back to La Llorona.
Yeah. Well, do you think the
think
maternal
that's
element
why.
has something to do with it too? Like a mother turning on the children?
Definitely, which probably does happen in real life. I mean, we've heard of stories that one lady who drowned all her kids in the car.
Oh, yeah.
And there was another one in
I've
the
read
bathtub.
plenty of stories of like parents who kill their kids. So, okay. So I feel like there's
pretty
something
common.
a little bit easier to latch onto there.
Yeah. Sorry for my tangent on literature.
No. It's great.
Oh,
Go
but-
check out her podcast, Villains of History, guys.
Villains of history. I know a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of women who drown their kids. There's actually a video you can find.
Of a woman drowning her kids.
There's this lady who drives her van like into the ocean, and this guy pulls his car over. He's like filming the whole thing, and he runs out of his car and goes to try and get the kids out of the car as she's driving her van into the water at the beach.
Damn.
It is a trip, and they save all the kids. Spoiler.
Appreciate that's up there. Yeah.
It's a crazy video. But we actually have one in Nicaragua. We have one called La Mocuana. She's a little bit like La Mala Hora one,
Okay.
where she kind of pops up on the road.
Uh-huh.
And the story of La Mocuana is that she was this native woman. She was
Okay.
a native princess, the daughter of the chief. And then one of the conquistadors fell in love with her, or she fell in love with a conquistador. And her father had hidden his gold away so that the Spanish wouldn't take it. And the only person he had told where it was his daughter, the princess. So she gets pregnant, and she decides to tell the conquistador where the gold is. She shows him where it is. He kills her
Ooh.
and takes all the gold. So she now haunts men in Nicaragua. And my grandfather has seen her, and my uncles have seen her.
But have you?
I have not.
Well, then how do we know it's real, Kat? Maybe it's a bedtime story to scare you before you went to sleep.
It's a good bedtime
Like
story.
how my mom would tell me Jesus Christ is going to kill me in my sleep.
Oh, how? That is not accurate.
Hey, I grew up Catholic. I know what the Bible says. Jesus will kill you if you don't donate to the church.
Totally. That is exactly it.
If anyone made it to this point in the video, feel free to second that opinion. Back me up here, would you? Well, that's some fascinating shit right there, damn.
I hope I didn't bore everybody, but if you
No,
like
that
me...
was scary. That was terrifying. God damn. I wasn't expecting you to come here and be like, yeah, I actually believe a lot of this.
I don't believe a lot of weird things, but when it comes to ghost stories, especially Latin American ones,
I don't
on,
believe
I'm
something
on board.
until the person I'm with believes it. Then I'm like, oh, maybe it is real. I second it.
I have
Just like
so many
how-
uncles who've experienced paranormal stuff.
I've experienced
In
paranormal
Nicaragua.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Care to share it? No? Yeah?
No, I believe I shared it in another video with you, and you completely
true.
logically broke down how I was stupid. So I'm not going to do that again today.
Sorry. It's weird because I do believe in ghosts, but then anytime someone tells me a ghost story, I'm like, and that's me, and here's why.
And that's why I'm not going to try to explore that here. Well, these were all fascinating. I know it's a common theme with family being involved in a lot of these. Old people are apparently terrifying motherfuckers. And so, yeah, and there's a lot of scary old people in these Mexican
Oh, like in
urban
Home
legends.
Alone, he's scared of the guy next door.
Exactly. Old people are naturally scary.
Horrifying.
Call it ageism, call it facts, whatever you want to call it. Guys, you can subscribe to the Reject Nation. Click that notification bell.
Do it.
Follow Kat Alvarado on social media and check out her Villains of History podcast.
It's funny.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Really funny and really educational. Her best episode was the one she did with me. I've heard them all. And,
Have you?
Twice. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks, Top 5 Unknowns. And thank you guys.
Bye.